where we hold them. This is where we fight.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack Podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
2022, baby. Yo, this is the best year ever. The best year ever. Dude, I swear to you, last week, funny, right? Last week, we talked about how we weren't going to be talking about the ban urethane balls.
Well, we're not talking about urethane balls anymore.
We're not talking. We moved up in the world.
Yeah.
We're talking about banned high-performance balls now, and we will get into it. But I feel like this is a big show tonight, Mike. I feel like there's a lot of people that are angry, that are frustrated, that want to speak out, and this is really the only way to do it is on our show, right? It gives everybody a voice.
I just want to say that I stand by my claim that regardless of what happens, that this is somewhat of a silly discussion. So I stand by that claim. People in the chat, let's get this out of the way. Matt Spear saying go North Carolina. We made a little side bet on Sunday. He knows that I pay my bets. He can attest to that. Yes, St. Peter's lost. Nico pointing out, I did go to the game on Sunday. I did enjoy myself. I did not enjoy the result of the game. But you know what? Good run by the Peacocks. Very, very pleased. Awesome to see my school, my alma mater, make that kind of run. So we'll get that out of the way. The people, they want us to get right into it here tonight, Rob. So we're gonna try to do that as quickly as possible. League report. Oh my God, I bowled 128 the last game. 128 the last game of the night. I know. Totally. I'm stupid. I only brought in 2 balls. I brought in 2 balls and a spare ball, and I should be bringing in at least another 3, and I didn't. And yeah, it cost me because I just tried to throw the ball that I brought in the last game, and it didn't really work too well. And yeah, I also decided to miss 3 makeable spares in that game, so that was no fun. But the first game I shot 210, it's like 207 or something, 206. Second game I was like 180. So I wasn't too bad the first 2. I was like minus 10 after the first 2. Then I shot 120 something. It happens. Whatever. I'm watching the Masters. I'm watching Patch Pirates out there averaging 140, 127, 140, 150. I mean, come on, so like it happens, so Mr. X was enraged last night. Mr. X was absolutely enraged last night. And the reason is because there is a team in our league who started the season with 3 bowlers. Okay. One of those bowlers quit, but they are paying the 3rd spot. Okay. So they're still bowling, even though they're missing a player. Now, the averages of the 2 players that are still there, they're not very high average players, right? So their averages equal out to where, in order for them to meet the minimum average requirement, okay, to be at a minimum average requirement in the league, their vacant is a 215. Okay, so every game they're vacant, their 3rd spot gets a 215. Now, I understand that seems, why would you give the vacant a 215? But it's because based on the rules of the league, it's either that or that you're going to have to give them ridiculous amounts of handicap, right? And there's a minimum average requirement, right? So it's meeting the rules of the league. And yeah, like people were incensed. People were incensed that the vacant is a 215. They don't realize that if it wasn't, you would still have a huge difference, a huge discrepancy handicap wise. So it's 6 of one, half of the other, literally. And it doesn't matter whether you do it this way or that, right? And yeah, it was somewhat comical to watch. But yeah, I bowled terrible. We got whacked, and it was not a good night at all. So, on to the next one. I'll probably be out practicing on Saturday. Robert Hamilton in the chat is saying, I know that Shaheen Holloway took the Seton Hall job. I just read that before I came up to set up for the podcast. So, listen, good luck to him. I'm happy for the guy. I mean, he's probably going to make 10 times the money, so he deserves it. Okay. So, Rob, you have a little bowling to talk about as well. Our guy qualified first in a tournament for the step ladder. He wasn't able to take it down, but we're still proud of you, Rob. Out there repping Sweep the Rack. At least somebody around here is making cuts somewhere, and they seem to be up to my standard of toughness too. I gave a thorough overlook of the scores, and I have to say they looked like they were probably pretty tough.
They were brutal. They were 42 feet flat. The great thing about the pattern was that it took all of the urethane people out of play, and it took essentially the two-handers out of play. The urethane looked terrible. I threw it 3 shots in practice. I picked off 3 off the right twice, and I washed out once, and I knew instantly that it wasn't the right ball. So, Mike, man, I've been practicing, but the key to why I bowled, I mean, I was like plus 66, I think, for 7 games, and I led the tournament.
Spare shoot.
I missed 1 spare in 7 games on a flat pattern. And it was a 7-pin I missed in the first frame of the 6th game. I mean, yeah, I left my splits, but I made all my spares. My spare shooting was good. I was able to create doubles, caught some breaks, had some Brooklyns in there every now and then.
Well,
I was able to.
You're Brooklyn Rob, so
I am. I was able to make I was able to strike out when I had the Brooklyn. So I Brooklyn the 8th, and then I was able to take that off the sheet for a 2-0. You know what I mean?
Right.
Final match, dude. I bowled Brianna Cote. She's reigning PWBA Player of the Year. She won her first 2 matches, and we both start the match at front 4 each. I caught a really big break in the 4th frame where I went through the nose and I struck.
Okay.
She gets up 2 10s. I get up, I pocket 7-10. Not going to be mad at it. I just went through the nose. Anyway, long story short, gets to the 9th frame. I'm up. I'm on a double. Big shot for me, or strike. I'm on a strike, and I leave a baby split, but on the left side. So I left the 2-7, and I miss it. Anyway, it gets to the point where I need a double in the attempt to force her to double. I stone 10, throw great, make the spare, forces her to strike out, to mark, to win, and leaves the baby split and makes it to beat me.
Okay.
So that was it. I mean, that was a quick rundown of it. I lost 208 to 200, finished second, made a couple hundred of brackets, got about five something back for the tournament.
Okay.
Good day's work. Threw ball great.
Did you have fun?
No, bowling on that shit.
No.
No.
See, I mean,
no, I'm kidding.
I'm
kidding. When you're bowling good, it's fun. You know what I mean? When you're bowling good, it's fun. When you're, the good thing
when
about
you're bowling
pattern,
bad,
Mike,
it's frustrating.
It is. But the good thing about the pattern, Mike, which I know you're going to agree with me, is the fact that I had a 172. I think it was game 3 or 4, but there was really zero sense of panic at 172 because I knew that I wasn't going to lose a lot of ground because I was already plus. So
right.
I could have literally 180 or 190 out and made the final 5. That's the great thing about bowling on tough patterns, Mike. You bowl 170, you're not going to lose ground. You know what I mean? As long as you stay around 200.
Yeah,
so,
it's like you said about the spare shooting earlier, and a lot of it comes down to that. But it's also, it's important to avoid those really bad games. You have to avoid those really bad games. If you don't, then it's tough to dig out of those holes.
It is. So that was it, man. It was a good tournament. I mean, it was 50-something, 53 or 54 entries. which is good, for a scratch tournament where they're that hard. They used red square kegel. Look it up. It's some flat U.S. Open type pattern. They were tough. No hold, no area. I mean, I had a really good shim with the ball I was throwing, and I was just able to kind of use it to my advantage. But yeah. I gotta tell a real story here. I bowled Saturday. I bowled the city tournament at Via Linda here in Scottsdale.
Okay.
Dude,
that was the 9 games in a day, right?
9 games, dude.
Okay.
The right side was completely not what we expected rolling into that tournament. We bowled 4 of us righties. I mean, I'm bowling with like Mike Haugen and Matt Jones and Robbie Patterson. And I think high on our pair for righty was like 6'10" or 6'15" for team event. And I was in like the 560s, right, for team. So I bowled terrible. And then singles and doubles, we moved pairs, and I was able to put together a 640 and like a 690. But the left side, Mike, the top 3 went like 760, 750, like 730. Dude, it was nuts how different they were from side to side on the city tournament. They were supposed to be putting out a modified house. It's bullshit, modified house, my ass. Dude, I bowled 550 in team event. If they were any close to any house, I would have shot 650. It was a joke, Mike. I mean, it wasn't fair. I didn't get upset because I promised myself coming back into bowling. And I really made this promise to myself. Coming back, the reason why I came back was because I wasn't going to get upset on the two-handers and the lefties and everything around me that I had no control over. I was going to focus on what my own game was. I was going to focus on what I can control, and I wasn't going to focus on everything else. And that's what I did. And I was better mentally when I came home. So
bowling with the Fef, what's good, bro? He wants to know if patch piracy was running rampant at the tournament.
It's always patch pirates. The pirates are everywhere. It's always going to run rampant. That's why they do it. Anyway,
sure.
So let's get into it because I know a lot of people don't really give a shit about your league, your turn, my tournaments. They want to hear what's going on in the bowling world, Mike. There seems to be a little bit of drama this week. A little bit.
Rob, before we start this conversation, I have a poem I'd like to share with the people.
All right, let's hear it, Mike. I know you got some good poems.
I have a poem that I'd like to share with everyone. I was inspired to write some poetry today, given the events transpiring in the bowling world. The poem is called "My Balls Aren't Soft."
They're not soft.
My balls aren't soft.
Okay. Let's hear it, Mike.
My balls aren't soft. You can check them if you want. I don't give a shit. I said it. You can check them back and front. My balls aren't soft. You can check them if you please. My balls aren't soft like some left out from under cheese. My balls aren't soft. You can check them if you question. But the way my balls hook will leave you second guessing. My balls aren't soft. You can check them if your ego's hurting. You can check them in a forest, in an ocean, or behind a curtain. My balls aren't soft. You can check them if you doubt me. My balls aren't soft. Peace, yo. I'm outie. I was just inspired. I really was. I was inspired today to do some writing. We were actually examining some poetry today in class, and when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get it on. So
well,
I just want to bring some.
Mike.
I want to bring some levity to the situation.
Inspiring, Mike.
Because
inspiration.
Thank you. I want to bring some levity to the situation. I want to remind people this is somewhat of a silly situation, because the truth of the matter is, people, that we don't even really know what a softer bowling ball actually does. Okay, all right. So let's
start. So
continue on. Go ahead.
I really like to start on the Jason Belmonte post.
Of course you do.
Because I feel like the Jason Belmonte post was a little bit of a foreshadow. Okay. So if anybody doesn't follow Jason Belmonte on Facebook and his social media, he's got a huge following. They're at the Masters, obviously, at the USBC Masters this week, where a lot of, the testing or the data collection, you want to call it, was going down. Belmonte posts, something unsettling happened after my practice session at the Masters. USBC asked me to bring my bowling balls to be tested. What kind of testing, I was unsure of. I brought my balls to this testing site and thought it was weird that it was behind black curtains. I asked if I could watch my equipment through the testing process. They declined to allow me, so I declined to give my equipment to them to test. I just didn't feel comfortable not being able to be present through the testing process. I have no issue with them testing any and all my bowling balls, so as long as there is transparency. Why do it behind a black curtain? Why can't I watch my own equipment be tested? And what are they testing for? Does this seem weird to you too? ? And he put a picture of these black curtains, and I couldn't pull it up from technical difficulties, but it's literally the corner of the bowling paddock room.
Looks like a place they take somebody that's dying, honestly.
Yeah. Well,
honestly.
It reminded me of the place
whatever.
where like the players get injured in the field and they put them in there and then they treat them when no one could see them being treated.
Well, can we do this? Can we answer his question? Because he posed a question there at the end.
Does this seem weird to you too? So
Does
I'll
it
throw it
seem
to you,
weird
Mike.
to you? Oh, you're going to throw it to me? No, it doesn't seem that weird to me. In fact, am I crazy? Am I over the line for saying that no bowler is above having their stuff tested really at any time?
But she should be able to be present while they're testing them, no?
Maybe, maybe not. So say something. Okay, so say something arises out of the first test. Okay, then I would expect the bowler to have the right to be there for a second test. No question. No question. But I mean, like, really, to me, to suggest otherwise suggests that something untoward is going on. And I think that's a stretch. I think that's a huge stretch. I mean, Rob, what do you think?
I think all bowlers should be present when they're getting their balls tested. I agree with Belmonte on this one. And here's the reason. Like, I kind of compared it to being TSC.
Why? What? Like, okay, so explain to me why that changes anything.
It doesn't change anything. It's just transparency, Mike. It's just giving people transparency. It's all it is.
Okay.
What's the big deal if they're there or they're not there? But you're going to get something like this because they're not allowing the players to watch their equipment. So there's that even if it's a 1% doubt that they're doing something shady or doing something like weird, why even give people that 1%? Let the players watch what you're doing. It's a ball test. I don't see what the big secret is. Mike, it's like when you get called over for TSA and when you're flying on security and they're going through your shit. Could you imagine if they wouldn't allow people to watch them go through your shit? Now, you probably would imagine that they're not going to do anything to your shit, but there's that 1% doubt that someone might do something to your shit, take something, plant something. I don't know. Like, why even give anybody any kind of, even if it's a 1% doubt that they're going to do something shady to your shit?
I can't answer that. I can't answer the why, right? I don't have the knowledge to answer the why, but I will say I'm not as quick to jump to the idea that there's something shady behind the testing process if I can't watch them do it. I mean, what if the answer to your concern, Rob, was as simple as just the volume of equipment they're moving through? Like if they're moving through a lot of equipment and they're moving quickly, they don't want people standing around. I mean, I don't know. Again, I have no idea what the answer to that question would be.
Yeah, but the USBC tournament, they would sit there and they would weigh your ball. They would check the hardness right in front of you when you were in the USBC tournament. They did it for how many bowlers and how much equipment every day. There was 3, 4, 5 people on scales there sitting there, and you'd sit there and watch them do it. Mike, I had a problem years ago with the USBC where they tried to drill a weight hole into my track, and my brother caught it while they were doing it. So the USBC,
and I'm not saying that I have a I have a problem with the bowlers being there. I'm just saying that to me, to suggest to take such a strong stance on that, to me, borders the line of saying that or suggesting that something untoward is going on with the testing process itself.
So, okay,
and I don't know. I mean,
no.
If that's the case, then like we're in much worse shape than even I could have ever imagined. But and I'll be honest with you, Rob. I kind of have a problem with that a little bit. I do. You know, I don't have a problem with bowlers being there for the test. And you're right. It's a shitty decision on the part of the USBC, because now it opens up this exact Pandora's box, right? That they opened up by not doing it, right? So I'm not going to defend that decision, but I'm also not going to go as far as I hear you going as to say that because they made that shitty decision, that it could now logically suggest that something untoward's going on. I don't. I'm
not saying that they're good. I'm not saying the USBC is out to get people. And they're be
you were bordering that.
No. I'm saying is
I don't know, Rob.
By them doing that with the curtains and not letting the players do it, it gives the players even a 1% doubt that they can do something. Just let them watch, man. But here's my thing, Mike.
I agree with you. I agree with you that that's the better way to go about it, right? But at the same time, making that poor decision to not do it that way, to me, doesn't negate what's going on. Go ahead.
No. So now I'm going to be talking conspiracy, Mike, and foreshadowing. Okay. And I'm going to throw this out to you because I don't know the answer. At this point,
we're going to speculate. We're speculating here, folks.
All speculation, okay?
Start the speculation clock.
At this point, when Belmonte is posting this post, does he know that his Trend 2 is getting pulled off of the USBC National Masters tournament at this point when he's making this post?
I would think so.
You would think so, right? You just didn't get this drop down on Belmo the day after. Okay. Right. So now is Belmo putting this post up, which, by the way, he's been pretty quiet when it comes to this controversy, right? He hasn't really said a whole lot about any of it. All of a sudden, he drops a post the day before his Trend 2 and Storm gets the 6 balls get pulled off, right? Is he putting a doubt in people's minds that the USBC is up to something prior to them making this announcement?
I don't know.
We don't know, but we're speculating here.
Okay, I mean, if I'm speculating, then I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say that there's probably a connection between the two, and that's why I said before, like, I really don't think that anybody is above having their stuff tested. In fact, Rob, like, you and I have bowled in junior tournaments together where people that we know personally have said, I want that person's equipment checked because of the way it's laid out. And Chuck used to go and get the person's stuff and bring it into the pro shop, and the pro shop guy would weigh it out and tell him whether it is or it isn't, So I saw a couple things in the chat here that I want to highlight.
Yeah, we got a lot of chat. We got a lot of chatter.
This is a great point here. This is something I didn't think about. What if, I'm going to start at a speculation. What if the USBC was only testing certain balls and not all of them, and they didn't really want, a hubbub going on about what balls they were testing? Now that would also jive with Rob, and you conspiracy theory road again. That would also kind of jive with the idea that maybe someone else is pushing for this testing of these particular brands balls, right? Here's another comment I want to highlight. Jason Pav, what's good? Sweep the rack rosin bag on the Masters live feed today from Jason Pav. Appreciate the support, bro. USBC banned 6 balls and everyone blaming USBC, not the ball manufacturer. Does that make sense?
Well, we're getting.
I agree with Jason, and we're going to talk about that. But I agree with that. So if you disagree with me on that too, stick around, because I'm going to have a pretty strong opinion on that too. All right, Rob. What direction do you want to go in here?
Okay, so let's talk timeline here. Okay, so Belmonte puts this post up, right, and everybody now is like, going crazy. Okay, what's going on? No one trusts the USBC, right? Already to this point. Okay. Hasn't been a good year, right? For them. Now, and he posts this and everyone's like jumping on like, oh crap, like what's going on there at the Masters? Something's crazy is going on, right? We'll talk more about John Stevenson about that comment about kissing Storm's ass, okay? Because yes, there's a big following, right, of Storm. But the next day, right, the USBC makes a bombshell release, right? A press release that literally came out of nowhere. And I sent this to you and you were like, holy crap, I'm bowling, but I wish I was home because we would jump on the podcast. Here's what they posted.
It would have been 100% would have been an emergency pod last night.
It would have.
It would have been only the second time we only went to emergency pod status, and the first time was when Ebonite got sold. Yeah,
yep. And that was a good show too when we posted that. So the so a little bit of a tidbit of the article USBC releases the next day is USBC's investigation showed a percentage of these ball models measured below the USBC required hardness level of the approval samples submitted by Storm. Storm collaborated with the USBC after being notified of this testing. And then they give the 6 bowling balls, which is including one of my bowling balls. Great. Effective March 30th, which is today, these ball models are prohibited from use in the USBC national tournaments, including but not limited to the Masters, US Open, Open Championships, US Women's Championships, all PWBA tour events, USBC Junior Gold and Youth Open Intercollegiate Championships, team trials, and Senior Masters and Senior Queens. Mike, this is like their top tier tournaments, okay? So now here's the big issue, okay? They send this out. There's already people bowling the Masters. They're in the middle of qualifying, Mike. Today is the second day of qualifying, okay? Let's be clear. Let's let everybody know that. The US Open Championships is going on right now. There are people that are flown in all over across the country to bowl the USBC Open Championships. There are
and the Masters.
And the Masters. So you got 2 of the major tournaments that they banned these bowling balls, Mike. And these 6 bowling balls, the Phase 4 Electrify Solid Trend 2 Altered Reality Wolverine UFO Alert, these aren't like off bowling balls that nobody uses.
Right.
Dude, these are all new releases from Storm. All of them are new releases, okay? So that one tells me something, okay? That something happened in the last year, okay, or 10 months from these balls being manufactured that was different from the rest of their stuff, okay? Because none of the older stuff is getting tested for below hardness. So something changed in the last year of these manufacture of these bowling balls, okay? I'm like a detective, right? Trying to figure out what happened. And I'm trying to build a timeline in my head of all of this, okay? So I'm thinking out loud to myself, okay, something's changed in the last 10 months. So anyway, so now, okay, let's go back to the bowling, the Masters, and the USBC Open Championships. You have people right now, average everyday people bowling the Masters, bowling the USBC Open Championships, that essentially paid $200 to $230 or whatever the price is for these bowling balls for these specific tournaments, okay? And now they can't use them. But prior to this, in the Open Championships, the all events leader, I'm pretty sure, used one of these balls to take the lead of all events. These balls have been getting used the last month.
Yeah, but again, like I really don't even want to go down that road because nobody has any factual data to say that it makes one ball better than another. So like I don't know, but Rob, I understand your point. There's a lot of people that are put in a bad position by this decision and the timing of the decision. Is that that fair?
So, look, and David Tolson, okay, like not totally true. UFO alert. I said in the last year, okay, it was released last summer, okay. That's technically a year and a half, okay. My timeline. What I'm saying is something changed. Here's my hunch, Mike, and I'm gonna throw this out here, okay, because I see it in the comment, and I'm gonna pull his comment up. Stephen Gatos, COVID interrupted the material supply for resins. I think it absolutely has something to do with this. And this is just a hunch, okay? Speculation, Mike. Something changed with the material in the supply chain. That's my industry. I'm in the supply chain, okay? I'm in logistics. I know a lot about it. Completely, stuff's not getting over. The ports are a mess. I feel like something happened with the manufacturing of these bowling balls where the resin that they were maybe using could have been disrupted, and then they had to get resin from another manufacturer, somewhere other where they can get it to keep making the bowling balls, not realizing that maybe the new resin that they're using softens over time. And these balls originally passed the USBC test, just like the Purple Hammer did. And then as they were getting used, they softened, and then boom, you got hit with 7 illegal bowling balls. That's
so
really what I could think of.
I want to. That's a great point. That's a great point. You should probably be a detective when you retire from your supply chain job. I want to make a point about the testing of the balls, the original testing of the balls. Right.
Okay.
We reached out to Chad Murphy today. Okay, through email, and I asked him, Chad, like, can you just give us a brief description of how these balls are tested? How many are tested? You know, when you do the initial testing, when is that? How many are tested? How does the approval process work a little bit? So in typical Chad Murphy fashion, he sent me back like a 60-some page document that it described the entire USBC ball testing process. Now, I didn't have a ton of time today, but I did glance over certain parts of it. Okay, and from what I read, if I read it correctly, they only test 2 balls. The initial testing of the balls only tests 2 balls, right? And there was a comment here that's like way up top now. I can't even find where it's at.
Fire right now.
Yeah, but somebody was pointing out that, you know, 1 ball gets approved. They send in 1 ball for testing. 1 ball gets approved. Time passes. Other balls are produced under that same name of the ball, right? Who's to say that those balls are exactly the same? Okay, and that's a really good point. All right, and that kind of plays into what you were saying too, Rob, because it could be where, you know, balls were tested previously and they were okay, but after they were thrown or after some kind of change was made in the production process, right, that changed. Okay, so I think it's important to at least mention that and put that out there. And I hope that I'm not getting that information completely incorrect.
Ernest, if you know a lot about like companies and manufacturers, is every company gets their supply from different manufacturers. So just because Storm's getting their resin from one manufacturer doesn't mean EBI and Motive and all the other companies are getting this resin from the same companies. Motive and EBI maybe didn't have that problem with the supply chain and the manufacturing. There's a chance that where Utah, where they might get their supply chain of manufacturing from China, right? And China is a huge issue right now, getting stuff over from China. But Motive or EBI could be getting their stuff from Mexico, right? Which is EBI, where a lot of their stuff is made from Brunswick. So obviously, getting stuff over from Mexico is a lot easier than getting stuff over from China. Because obviously Mexico, you could just do over the road. You don't have to put it on a container and ship it overseas. That would be my hypothesis and my just from knowing the logistics chain, right? And the supply chain.
I would like to bring up this comment by Lou. Lou, what's up? Tuesday night, Sport League vet.
Yeah, Lou, what's up, man?
He says, do you guys think Storm is in trouble now from a PR and financial perspective? What will the impact be the company's future and the livelihood of Storm staff players? I think it's significant. I got to be honest, Lou. I disagree. I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure that you disagree with me or you disagree with Lou.
I disagree with you.
I'm not surprised. That's why we do this podcast together, because we rarely ever see eye to eye on anything. I think if you guys disagree with that, with me, then you're not giving credit to how big a company Storm is and what kind of money they're probably making and you know what kind of income they're generating there.
You're crazy. Okay, so we know for a fact that the Spectra was going to cost Storm close to about $1 to $2 million with the replacements and the free drillings that they were giving, right? Because to them it's not free, right? They're probably having to pay a lot of pro shops to do that or whatever they're giving credit and how that's working. You get $1 to $2 million a ball to replace. Now you have 6 more that they have. do the math. What is that? 1 to 2 million a ball. Let's just assume it's a total of $10 million to $11 million, not including probably the man hours that are going to be taken to replace him. Mike, let's just put it at 10 million.
And I thought I saw something from Storm today saying that it seemed like it was worded to me where they were saying that they were only going to replace the balls for people that were using them at those levels or in those events, but not in instances where somebody might bowl in a local league and the league doesn't vote to ban that ball.
Yeah. So, okay, let's just say,
so I don't know. I'm not so sure that the hit on this is going to be so.
Okay. Let's just assume it could be 15 to 20 million. Because this is really a big change. This is
I don't know. Storm's a private company, so like
it is.
We have no idea. I'm
assuming.
they make,
I'm making assumptions here. That's going to be anywhere from 10 to 20 million. This is going to cost Storm.
So okay? How much yearly income do you think that is with that for them?
Dude, honestly, like you said, they're a private company, so you can't tell. Just knowing my old companies, and I work for Fortune 500 companies, a loss of a $10 million to a Fortune 500 company is a pretty big deal for them in reality of their budgets, how they set, their budgets for this year to next year. How do companies get their stocks? What raises a company's stocks is when they have their quarterly budget reviews and they go through their budgets. Dude, there's no chance they're making any kind of bonuses or budgets that they've set, right? This is going to completely set them back a while, right? Like this is going to set them back a lot, Mike. Okay. Now I'm not saying Storm is going to go out of business. Let's just hope they don't, because I love their bowling balls. I do. I'm a big Storm fan. I love throwing their stuff, but it's to say that it's not going to even, it's going to hurt. Trust me. It's going to hurt a lot. And how about the business, their future business of these mom pop shop guys, I'm going to say like these local average league bowlers that now have to bowl once a year at the national tournament and they get their ball replacement and they can't even use that same bowling ball, Mike. Like they're going to maybe start drilling up motive and EBI balls because they don't want to deal with that again. Like, I don't know. It seems like there could be a lot.
So Scott Long in the chat is saying, how do you do new releases and get research and development costs from 12 million is missing? But I mean, are we giving no credit to the fact that Storm has been the leader in the bowling ball sales for like well over a decade now? I mean, is this that big of a hit to them? I don't know. I just don't think that it is. I mean, Rob mentioned the word bonuses. I mean, should they get bonuses? Are you kidding? No one should get a bonus. Not if this is what came as a result of the decisions that they made. No one should get a bonus. So I don't want to hear about bonuses. Now, if you're telling me that they're going to have to cut employees or that people are going to lose their staff contracts that aren't patch pirates, how about they start there? How about they cut all the patch pirates and recoup some of the money from the balls, from the free balls they give the patch pirates?
They're going to.
Patch pirates
they're going
buy their balls. Good. I hope that happens as a result of this.
I feel like there's going to be you'd be surprised, but essentially there's probably going to be some cuts made somewhere in the company to try to recoup some of this.
Again, I think you guys are seriously underestimating the place that Storm has in the bowling ball and bowling apparel and bowling equipment industry. I think if you are saying that, I think you're severely underestimating that. But I guess time will tell, right? Time will tell.
Yeah,
all right, and can we move on to a different piece of this? All right, let's talk about the USBC. All right, let's talk about the USBC and their position here, right? Their stance here, where they stand. Do you have any opinions you want to espouse on that, Rob?
I do.
Go ahead.
The one thing that drives me crazy is the inconsistency of the bans and the bowling balls, right? So what you're saying is there is illegal balls, like a Trend 2 or a altered reality that is not meeting the USBC specs, right, for being legal. yet I'm allowed to bowl a USBC sanctioned league or a USBC sanctioned tournament or a PBA tournament, but I'm not allowed to use it at the USBC Masters or the USBC Open Championships. Where's the consistency, Mike? Like, if the ball is illegal, it should be taking off the approved list. Okay. Now, I talked to Chad Murphy about this back in the Purple Hammer episode, and Chad Murphy told me that they don't have the power to ban it through the local associations. The local associations can go and they could follow suit and, you know, use that rule that the USBC national governing body did, but locally they can't. The only thing that they can do is they can pull the ball off of the USBC approved ball list. So you have a USBC, you have an illegal ball, Mike, and you're keeping it on so people can use it in leagues and in local tournaments that are still USBC sanctioned. It just doesn't.
Why is that? And how do you justify that? And you're right, it is inconsistent. And I see people saying in the chat it's so wishy-washy. It's so wishy-washy. There's no backbone there at all. Okay, that they're going to say, well, you can't use it in these instances, but you can use it here. Now, Rob, let me ask this question because we saw this before. Do you think that's likely to change?
Yeah. I mean, it happened last time. This is how it started with the Purple Hammer last time, right? They originally said, okay, the 16, 17s are only banned from, you know, using it on the show, right? And then eventually they pulled it off of the approved ball list. I could see that happening, but the PBA made a stand, right? And the PBA came back and completely went against the USBC and said they're allowed to use the PBA. They're allowed to use these specific balls on future PBA events. And here's the kicker, Mike. The TV show for the Masters is sanctioned as a PBA event.
Yeah, so, but they already came out. They
said they can't use them on the show.
Can't use them on the show.
Okay, but they could use it at a PBA event. They could use it at the playoffs.
They can. And what does that say? What is it? So to me, what that says, like you were doing some investigating before, and I was thinking about that. What does that say? To me, that says that clearly the USBC hasn't shared much with the PBA.
It showed what PBA said they didn't have any like field testing or anything specific to ban that. But the USBC goes ahead and does all of this with their biggest tournaments. And I read those tournaments, right? These are big tournaments, Mike. This is like the cream of crop of the USBC tournaments. But in reality, and then the PBA says, well, I don't care what the USBC did. We're going to let them be used on our, you know. So, you know what that shows? The PBA maybe has a better relationship with Storm, Mike, than the USBC, who's a national governing body who's really doesn't care about the relationships. They're there as a strictly governing body. The PBA is a business, Mike.
They're supposed to be anyway.
But I'm saying is the PBA. Yeah.
Joel, what's up? Joel pointing out Barnes used an alter to take the all events leave. Is it an Edgel? Short answer, no. He's Chris Barnes. He's Chris Barnes. Long answer. We don't even know because there's not enough research to really determine what the effect of a couple points of softness are. And that's why I say, like, I'm so sick of this conversation.
So wait, so let me read this comment, Chris Luce, man.
That's wrong, Chris. That's not correct.
The PBA hasn't tested anything but urethanes. They aren't going to ban gear for no reason other than hearsay. Mike, I mean, would you think that the PBA should be relying on the USBC to get their testing info if they're not going to be doing testing themselves? Yes, because the USBC is the national governing body, right? So here's my point, is that the PBA is literally going against the USBC, because like I said, the PBA and Storm probably have a better relationship than the USBC does with anybody else. The USBC is a governing body. They're not supposed to have, you know, relationships and financial relationships with companies that they're doing ball testing for.
Nico saying in the chat, are we going to talk about Chad Murphy working for Columbia before going to Arlington? No, Nico, we're not going to talk about it because honestly, I feel like, you know, saying that or going down that road, it's very conspiracy theory-like. It's very conspiracy theory-like, you know, and I kind of had this argument with Jeff Rickles on Twitter today a little bit where he keeps insinuating in some way that, you know, Chad Murphy is a bad guy and therefore, like, he would do things behind the scenes that are not up to par. And listen, I don't know Chad Murphy that well. Chad Murphy could be the devil incarnate himself. I don't even know. But if I'm going to believe that, I need some kind of proof. I need some kind of proof to know, like, all right, this is what he did, or there's text messages or emails or something of this nature. So, I'm not willing to go down that conspiracy.
I got to pull up
Mike's
comment. Mike, good to see you. By the way, if you need a house, man, hit up Mike, dude. He's a great real estate agent in the Arizona area. Mike, Big Mike, Mike Bull for college, man. He was good. He was All-American. Is the decision the PBA made about continuing to allow bowlers to use Storm equipment recently banned by USBC a lack of data or more about pressure from Storm? I imagine that product fees registration from the bowling companies are a big financial crutch for the PBA. So, I mean, look, that's what I'm trying to say, right? Like the PBA has would be a strained relationship if they maybe went with the USBC, but there is a lot of stuff we're just speculating here. We don't know for a fact, but it seems pretty clear to me why the PABA would go against the USBC rulings here.
Love you, Nico. Love you, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm just passionately discussing. Don't think I'm getting upset at you. I'm not. Lou agreeing with you here, Rob. PBA dependent on product registration. They don't want to mess with that revenue. I generally agree with that. All right, Rob. I want to move into one more section of this conversation. Okay. And that's some bowler reaction.
Okay.
That's some bowler reaction to this. Okay.
Okay.
Who do you want to highlight? I'll give you your choice. You want to hear about Brad and Kyle reaction first? You want to hear about Brad and Kyle in the house reaction first, Dick Allen reaction first, or Belmo reaction first? Which one you want to talk about?
I want to talk about Brad and Kyle.
All right. They basically poo-pooed it and would not say much. They just were all in the Tang's garage, Darren Tang's garage, drilling balls on Darren Tang's drill press, drilling numerous balls, and they didn't seem too happy about it, but they really didn't want to say too much about it either. And I wonder like if that affects relationships within those circles when like those guys bowl for different companies in many instances. And like you might have guys who are in the house together who hate the Purple Hammer. And you might have guys who are in the house who are bowling for a company that is accusing the other company of having soft balls and whatnot. So,
look, Mike, let's call spade a spade, okay? And this is being sweep the rack honest, Mike. This is why we're better than a lot of other media contents out there for bowling, okay? I'm going to call spade a spade, Mike. Storm is a big sponsor of a lot of, let's just say, media-produced content, okay?
They're a sponsor of everything bowling, really. I mean, they're
a big player in the game, right? And that's why you really call them the evil empire. It's not because
evil. I joke about that.
You're not calling them an evil because they're evil. You're calling them because
I'm calling them that because they are. They're like the Dallas Cowboys. They're like the Yankees.
Maybe they're
like
more the Patriots now.
They're like the Patriots. They're more the Patriots. You're right. No, fair
maybe
point.
Bill Belichick is running that company.
All right, let's talk about Dick Allen reaction.
Okay.
You saw on Twitter. He blamed two-hand bowling.
He did. Hey, he had a valid point about it. I mean,
how's it? Tell me, explain to me, please. Play devil's advocate and argue that point for me. What does that have to do with this?
I mean, he had some like technical, stuff. I didn't really get into too much about his post. I mean, he's entitled to his opinion, Mike. And he's been in the game a lot longer. He's been a pro for a really long time. So when a pro makes a comment or a suggestion like that, I have to understand that there is some kind of, it's an educated comment more than it's just him, just kind of hating on two-handers, Mike.
Okay. Let's talk about Belmo's reaction. Do you have
he
that?
Went live on Facebook just now, by the way.
Oh, just now? Oh.
Yeah, while we were on air.
Oh.
Word gets back to me quick, Mike.
Okay.
About just Storm Nation or fighters and Storm doing everything.
Do you have his other? Oh yeah, wait till we get to worst of the week. Do you have his other Facebook post brought up?
Oh, he had two?
Yeah, I thought there was one earlier today. Let me see if I can bring it up. I thought there was another one, or like where he You know what? I saw it on. I know where I saw it. Hold on, I'll bring it up easily here.
I thought that's crazy.
I got
thought
it. Hold on.
I mean, it would take me 2 seconds.
Here we
to
go.
pull up.
He said. I'm saddened by today's news regarding Storm Bowling. Is this the one you read previously? This is a
No.
different one, I believe. No. This isn't the one about the testing. This was after the news broke. He says,
It is, yep.
I'm saddened by today's news regarding Storm Bowling. Every single Storm Roto global employee, from the ones who pour to the ones who throw the ball, will continue to do what we do best. It's an even more painful decision as we pride ourselves in honesty, integrity, and commitment to honor the game truthfully with the production of all our equipment. I feel deeply for the Storm family hurting. The timing of this announcement also is painful. I feel for the players competing right now that do not have access to replacements during a major championship. I feel for the many players around the world who still compete under USBC sanctioned rules that now may not be able to use their equipment. Storm's commitment to you, the bowler, will be our first priority. Please be patient with Storm as this news affects so many. We will work as fast and as diligently as possible. I hope we fight this decision. Our customers deserve to eventually hear our side of the story. I wish I could share more of the behind-the-scenes feelings and communications, but for now, we will lick our wounds and find a way to get. I hope we fight this decision. I mean, that's pretty strong to me. That's pretty strong. That's a pretty strong reaction. You know, with that again makes me think that that there's something to fight. What's there to fight? You know, fight the results of the test, fight the process.
I think it's fighting the aftermath of it. I think that's what I feel like he's saying. Like, we're going to fight the aftermath of it. I don't think.
No, he said fight this decision.
I don't know if they're going to be fighting this, Mike. I just can't imagine the USBC pulling 7 bowling balls in the middle of the Masters and the USBC Open Championships if they didn't have the evidence to support their decision. Because ultimately, Storm could sue the USBC for those millions of dollars they're going to be out replacing him if the USBC didn't do their due diligence before they pulled him.
True.
You know? So, hey, by the way, can we start calling the USBC the Black Curtain? I feel like that's a great name for them, the Black Curtain. How funny is that, right? Like, isn't that a great name for them? So anyway, so Mike, and the one thing like I know we talked about last night is the fact that what bothers me the most is that the everyday average bowlers who can't do what the Tangs are doing and can't do what the Simonsons and whoever, right, are in his garage drilling new balls, who paid full price for these bowling balls that are on these ban lists, that are at these tournaments or the Open Championships, or that are going there in the next week, who can't just pick up a blank like I can, right, out of my the living room, have to now go through a huge process with Storm, and most likely won't be able to use their bowling ball they paid $200+ for. This is, to me, the biggest. I don't care about the bowlers that are on staff. I don't care about the staffers, the Patch Pirates, any of those guys, right? I don't care about them. The guys that have 8-10 bowling balls, they could pull out another ball. I'm more saddened and more discouraged for the everyday average guy who went to the USBC Open Championship with 3 balls, with one ball bag.
That's what they're always going to remember about that experience.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that was to me the most. Yeah, right.
What up, Dougie? I'd like to know why you think we're celebrities. I'd like to know.
We're not Dougie famous. So that's my biggest. This is where it hurts me, because there's some guys out there now that only are there for 3 balls. And what if 2 of those 3 balls were on the ban list, Mike? They went all the way out there to bowl.
Rob, that's what they're going to remember about this experience. You know, oh yeah, remember the time I went out to the USBC tournament and they banned my stuff and I only had a couple balls to throw and I bowled terrible. And you know, bowlers, Rob, always looking for an excuse for why they bowled terrible. So that I bowled terrible. I didn't have my stuff, and then they're blame it on the USBC. And you know, I think that's possible to lead to people not coming back or not wanting to be a part of that experience again.
Well, people, when they get angry and there's stuff that goes on, everybody's looking for somebody to blame. Okay. Do we think that this will affect future sales? What's up, Jimmy, by the way? I think current status and maybe the next like 3-6 months, maybe, probably. But I feel like bowlers have short-term memories. And the minute Storm makes a whole new batch of balls that are great bowling balls, because that's what they do, they'll get back on track eventually. They'll recover from this. But I feel like short term for maybe this fiscal year, I feel like, yes, like it will affect sales. But I feel like ultimately they'll be back on track.
Spags letting everyone know he shot 550 last night because the Wolverine was too soft. Yo, Spags, it reminds me, can I actually, I'm going to change the subject here for a minute, Rob. The bowling center that Bill grew up bowling in, the bowling center that
it went down on fire.
In, the bowling center where I met Bill and Paloozic, where Spags bowled, where many other people that pop in the chat from time to time bowled, burnt down last night, bro. Actually, this morning, burnt down this morning.
The whole thing burned down to the ground?
Yeah, that's what we're hearing, yeah. So, it was. It was sad to hear that, but all right, sorry for the off-topic. Spags made me think of that.
Do you know how many times I wanted to burn down Gil Hodges Lanes after I left?
So Jimmy bring up the fact, does any of this happen if Sean doesn't let loose at the players? I mean, Jimmy, what are you suggesting there? I'm going to speculate what you're suggesting. I think he's suggesting that pissed off guys from the other ball company who then started to look into what Storm had going on. I mean, am I right there, Jimmy? Let me know. I'm also going to bring up Brian Hirsch's comment. I'm no lawyer. We actually have a lawyer here at Sweep the Rack. We have a staff lawyer. His name's Jeff. I'm no lawyer, but if Storm was to sue the USBC, they wouldn't be able to get any ball certified as long as they're in court during a lawsuit. Neither company could communicate with each other until the case was settled. That's a good point. He says he's not a lawyer, but he knows that. All right, I'm gonna take your word there, my guy. Let's see. Yo,
Johnny P,
John,
man, what up, man? That's
Johnny,
my guy.
That's good. Love listening to you guys. Generally give viewers every possible perspective. So we try to be honest over here anyway.
So here's my thing though.
Hold on. Back to Jimmy. Yes, it sparked a war. All right, Jimmy, huh? You're the one who said it, not me. So
yeah.
I don't know.
That's the thing is there stuff getting right now behind the scenes between the bowling companies? Purple Hammer got, was the spotlight, and then all of a sudden it turned to Storm. But it's such a coincidence, though, how the Purple Hammer was illegal, and then now 7 bowling balls for Storm became illegal. Like, it's just, and we talked about the validity of testing. That we haven't even brought up today, right? Like, how valid are these soft tests that they're running at the events? Mike, I mean, we even read the USBC release a few weeks ago where we talked about the USBC couldn't even get the test right out in their testing facility, right? Now you're running tests behind a black curtain and you're expecting those tests to be 100% valid. I don't know about you, Mike, but the whole thing, the testing isn't exactly 100% either. And you're literally relying on these tests that are behind maybe a black curtain that is going to essentially cost Storm millions of dollars. Now, don't get me wrong. You would imagine, hopefully, USBC was doing more of these tests back in their facility, and they weren't just relying on the black curtain tests. But there's so much unknown, Mike. It's such a crazy situation. It really is. I don't know even. We beat this dead horse, but
I know. I'm tired. I'm tired of it. I want to move on, but I'm going to say this. There's one full solution, and that is to test balls before events at all of the events that you want to test them at. That's it. Go back to the way it was before, where it's a mill stamp. When that ball is stamped, it's been tested, etc. But really, even how far do we need to go in the modern day technology? Like, Rob, for instance, I don't want to get in a whole nother leg of this conversation, but you and I have discussed on this show how bowling ball companies will put different cores in ball, covers of one ball, but it's a different core, in these various combinations. So, how far does that need to go? Do we need to be X-raying the balls to make sure that it's the actual core in that ball and that it's legal? I don't know. But here's what I'm saying. Go back to how they were doing it before, where they test them.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be the really only way you're going to have true, like at least a pretty good indicator of what's being thrown out there. Johnny P, do you guys know if any other brands were tested this week in addition to Storm products? That's the thing is, essentially they were telling the pros that they weren't test. They were data collection, Mike, and it was a volunteer basis. I mean, Belmo denied his deal because he said that if he wasn't present, then he wasn't going to let them do it, and there wasn't anything that they can do. So in reality, I'm not really calling that they weren't doing testing, Mike, right? They were doing data collection. Did that data collection then snowball to what they released and banned 6 Storm balls? I don't know. I mean, these are things that we don't know.
It's a good question that Johnny asked, though.
I
would like
we got to address this, Mike. No. Okay. No. It doesn't matter what the hell Belmo
does this make
balls.
Belmo's win look like cheating? No, I don't agree with that either.
No, dude, Belmo, regardless of what company Belmo throws.
We don't even know what the effect of the additional points of softness is. They ban the softer purple hammers. The purple hammer's still in play everywhere you look. So I don't know is there that big of a difference between a little bit of softness or not?
No,
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Like, how can we then turn that around? How can you then turn that around to it delegitimizes Belmo's wins when the guy's been the best bowler on the planet for the last 10 years? Come on, it's ridiculous. Stop.
And this is just happened the last year or 13 months with these balls. All of a sudden started testing, especially the newer ones, right? So like Storm has never had this problem previously to all this, but on the other hand, was USBC checking for ball hardness the last 10 years? Because this hasn't been a problem. So Mike, there's also that question now is how long has Storm been making softer bowling balls? It's a question. I mean, it's a legitimate question.
Again,
right?
I'm not getting into what I consider to be borderline conspiracy.
Yeah, but we don't see. Here's the thing: is I guess I'm reading Scott Lang's comment here about we don't know the difference. You don't know what the performance of a 72.
Scott, you do know the difference. Come on,
Here's
man.
The thing is, you don't know what the difference is. The performance.
I understand the science behind it. I understand the science behind it. But if you're going to tell me that a bowling ball that's a few points softer than another one is going to allow whoever to beat the best in the world and be better than whoever at that time is the best in the world, no, I don't agree with that. I really don't. So
yeah,
I also don't agree with the USB hate, the USBC hate on this issue. On this issue, I agree that they stink. I agree that they stink in general. I said on Twitter today, while the USBC is taking care of things, maybe somebody should call them and tell them that every house shot in America has been completely fraudulent for 30 years. But no, they don't care about that. We're going to focus on softballs. All right, Rob, you want to talk a little Masters? You want to talk a little Masters before we go worst of the week here?
I mean, there's really not a lot to talk about. We're in the second day of qualifying. I know Brandon Novak is leading, I believe, still right now while they're still bowling. I saw Mikael Holloman, use the purple hammer and led yesterday the 5 games.
Oh my God!
I know
this is like I'm sorry, I got to interrupt.
Yeah,
you.
Sure.
This is like the third person to bring this up. The Ron Hicklin video with the softer ball, guys. Yeah. I watched the video. Okay, no, I don't want a human throwing the ball. Okay, I want a throwbot throwing the ball, so I can be assured that it's the same shot. When I watched the video, you want to know what I thought? I thought, wow, that one was left and hooked more. That's what I thought. I thought, wow, it looks like there's more friction left, and that ball got left, and the ball hooked more. So I don't know, man. I respect Ron Hicklin. We've had him on the show before. Totally respect his knowledge. But at the same time, if we're going to do a test like that, I want it done to the utmost specific way that we can do it. And I'm talking about a throwbot where you oil the lane, throwbot throws a shot, you re-oil the lane, and it throws it again. And you see this soft versus that soft. You repeat shot versus shot. So, Again, we don't know the real impact of it.
Mike, I'm gonna line the mood up here. My brother with the comment of the night. Test the
saw.
Rose Bowl, give Munson the title.
I saw, yeah. No doubt.
Yeah.
Masters. So yeah. You mentioned some guys that are whacking them. There's a lot of bad bowling going on out there, Rob.
Dude, someone averaged 127. I'm like, dude, what are you thinking after a 127? Mike, if you went and paid the money to travel and bowl, right? And I talk about, hey, I think everybody should get experience bowl, right? But if you averaged 127 for 5 games,
rough.
I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna be dead transparent here. You probably shouldn't be there if you average 127.
You think?
I'm gonna go out on a loop and say that. I get you trying to get experience, and maybe you shouldn't be there, Mike. This is a legit comment. I could bowl lefty at the Masters and average over 127. No doubt in my mind.
Okay.
So I don't know, guy. Just pack it up, man. Go home. Seriously. Sorry, I'm being.
It's rough out. It's rough out there this week. But listen, yeah. I'm really looking forward to. This is a great tournament. It's always a great tournament.
Oh,
everybody loves the match play. I'm looking forward to watching the match play. I'm looking forward to getting to Friday, where we're into the match play, okay? And, you got those 3-game total wood matches. Going to enjoy that a lot. So definitely we'll be watching. We're not going to be doing a live watch for that this weekend. I got some stuff going on, so we won't be on there for the live watch. But we definitely will be tuned in, and we will have a review of the Masters for the people next weekend, Robin. That's really going to be like our last tournament review for a while, because it'll be the PBA playoffs, and there's not really a weekly tournament review to talk about, and that's a subject we can actually get more into as the season wraps up here. But all right, Rob, are you ready to give the people what they want?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Rob.
So my worst of the week, and there was a lot of worst of the week this week.
Oh my God, there was so much worst of the week this week.
I'm gonna leave the fan comments and the fan worst of the week to you. Okay, my worst of the week is going to a professional bowler. Okay, it's going to our boy Bill O'Neill. Okay, 2 hours.
I know where you're going. 2
hours ago, Bill tweeted, I'm going to be doing one of two things next season. I'm leaving the choice to you guys. The first choice, throwing 14 pounds. The second choice, 2 hands. You know what this tweet shows me, Mike? Our boy is officially fried the fuck out.
True.
Dude, he is not bowling well right now, and he is over it, because if anybody knows him the way we know him, we know that tweet is a complete, I am fucking done. So I was laughing, and I'm like, dude, I have to give Bill worst of the week, because, and surprisingly, 14 pounds is winning right now, the vote, but I have to recheck it later. But I think everybody should go on Twitter at Bill_O'Neill and vote for 2-handed, because I would love to see Bill start to learn how to bowl 2-handed personally.
That tweet made me sad, so I didn't want to comment on it, honestly, and I didn't want to. It did. It made me sad. I was like,
yeah, he's having a
my
tough
boy's
year,
fried like that. Like, I wanted to call him and be like, bro, come home. Let's go to dinner.
Please,
let's go to dinner. Let's have some drinks. Let's hang out. Let's chill. Yeah. Let's break bread with the
fan. Wait, hold on. We got some background here. He tweeted that after a pocket 7. He did that mid-tournament too. That's how you know he's fried out, man. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that tweet made me sad. I didn't interact with that tweet in any way, shape, or form.
I didn't either.
But the comments under that tweet fried me out, because there were people that were saying, "Oh, I switched to 14 pounds. It was great for me. It was great for me. Best thing I ever did."
Is that my brother?
Really? Yeah.
Is that my brother?
You think what's good for? Well, you think what's good for you is good for Bill O'Neill? Okay, you dope. Get out of the comments. All right.
The comments stuff.
All right, I'm gonna be. Honestly, this might be my most unpopular worst of the week ever. because this is a blanket worst of the week. So I kind of feel like it's dangerous to give a blanket worst of the week because it covers so many people. But I'm going to do it because I saw so many posts and I was like, what? Why? What? Where's that coming from? My worst of the week is anybody who congratulated Storm.
Congratulated them on what? Making
Congratulated them in the aftermath of this banning of these balls. Like I saw a lot of social media posts, like
the cult following is
giving credit to Storm in some way, and like for what? You know, I mean, I they'll do the right thing, I'm sure, right? And I've already seen that, you know, maybe they're going to do the right thing in some instances, but you know, not others. And I don't know how they'll decide if some leagues decide to ban the balls and others don't. Does that mean you can get a trade in and others can't? I don't know, right? But yeah, I'll be honest. Like when I saw people throwing praise out there, you know, a little early on that for me. So
I mean, look, like
gotta give it worse
one of those. Honestly, Mike, though, like it's one of those things where Storm, you know, in a lot of views of a lot of eyes of people, they can do no wrong. Okay, and that's just being honest. Like there's, regardless of Storm could do whatever they want to do, and to a lot of people, they're going to come out looking like angels, and you know, it's you know, look, it is what it is. I mean, people love their balls, and they, you know, they've been loyal throwing them for, you know, 20, 30 years, whatever it is. But look, we got to call a spade, and we got to be honest, right? I love Storm's equipment too. Dude, Storm fucked up here. They fucked up royally. There's no way around it. Like, let alone if you love Storm or hate Storm, dude, they fucked up. They made balls that tested illegal from the USBC. So I don't understand why. I agree with you on the hate for the USBC at this point. The USBC did their job actually for a change. They actually found the legal balls and they got rid of them. Now, I was judgmental on their like consistency of what tournaments you could use them and what tournaments you can't use them. If they're illegal, get rid of them. Get rid of them off the shelf. But back to the Storm thing, doesn't matter, Mike. The internet, the, you know, social media, the Storm could do no wrong. They're gonna congratulate them. They're gonna be on their side. It reminds me a lot of some other things going on, you know, bigger stuff in this country. But anyway,
all right, give it to him, Rob.
Let me find it.
Here's my final thought. Is Michael Moreland in the chat saying he shot 869 with 14-pound ball?
That's good, man. Congrats.
Is he? Don't say that. It was probably on house nonsense. Come on.
So you can't. Know. Still a good series, man. Doesn't matter.
To me, that just shows you know, too much hook on the lane. A little too easy. 14, 869. I don't know. All right, Rob. Final thought here.
Man, I'm all final thought it out, honestly.
Oh Jesus,
dude, it was
That's where I'm leaving you tonight. I'm sorry, buddy.
Nah, man, crazy week. You know, and I just hope that the people that are this affected the most are the everyday average bowlers who paid for their equipment. That they find a way to like fight. He's Scarlato's 5'8" now, 16 pounds. It's good too.
I shot 5'15" last night with 16 pounds. I know, impressive.
Yeah. Look, like in the bigger picture of it all, like bowling has already been a struggling sport for a while. Competitive side of it, for sure. You know, this is another black eye on the USBC.
It's so stupid. Bowling. I mean, it's perfect for bowling, though, because bowling's stupid. It is.
It's like, another black eye on the sport, right?
We just continue to be stupid. We continue to be stupid. You know, we continue to focus on the wrong things. And yeah, it's frustrating. It is.
It is frustrating. So that's my final thought is the fact we're like, we need to get some more positive news into the sport. And we need to start, you know, like really focused on more of the like hopefully great things that bowling and the TV shows are doing instead of every week talking about what's the next shit show or train wreck in the high level like industry or competitive is. So, you know, Mike, like we all joke around about a lot of it, but we all love the sport and we want to see it succeed. And this this stuff that's every week coming out with this USBC and the banning and the bowling balls and all this is not really, it's not good for the sport, and it really hurts the sport. So,
Agreed.
So that's
Agreed.
my final thought.
We need to do better. Rob, I wish you and I had more of an opportunity to impact how we do better. But we're here. We do what we can. We contribute here in the way that we can. So we'll take it for what it's worth. Rob, the people should check us out. The people should hit the subscribe button. Okay,
please
hit the subscribe button. All right?
Help us out.
I see people saying this the first time they saw the podcast. Well, hit the subscribe button. You'll see us again. They should follow us on social media, Rob. I'm at the 215th on Twitter. You're at Brooklyn Rob 11. Follow us on Twitter. We love Twitter. We love to go on there and argue with other bowling people. Like, somebody DM'd me this morning and was like, "Hey, how are you?" And I said, "Well, it's before 6 a.m. and I'm ranting on the internet about bowling. So how do you think I am? I have a problem. How are you?" So that's how we do on Twitter. Follow us on there. Check out our website, sweeptherackbowling.com. And yeah, just generally keep up with us, people. Send us an email if you want, sweeptherack@gmail.com. We love to hear from the people. All right.
Our Twitter account, our Sweep the Rack Twitter account is great because it's like a mix of me and you, like on the account, like throwing our random like bowling thoughts out. And it's just as funny, like all the responses we get from everybody in the industry. So one of my questions, in case you're on Twitter, is 2022 should be a Netflix documentary for bowling this year, right? What would you name the Netflix documentary? Okay. And I threw that out to the people. I want people to go on our Twitter. Tell us what you would name the 2022 Netflix documentary of the PBA year. The answers. I can't wait to get off this podcast and look at those answers, because the people are going to give it to us.
All right. Check us out. Rob, have a great weekend. Have a great week. We'll check the Masters. Everybody enjoy the Masters. We'll check the Masters on Sunday for the TV show. We'll be back with the people next Wednesday to wrap that up. Everybody have a great week. Rob, we're out.
Take care. Later.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.